normally post like that, but I think we're going to because I've been getting a lot of messages and like, you guys are doing, yeah, you guys are awesome. You guys are doing so much stuff. And
Yeah.
I think we've been in so long that we kind of just take it, assume that everyone knows what we do, but there's so many new people that don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Guys like her.
Right.
Yeah, it's like me.
So if you think you like it, you can come back a couple more times or whatever, you know, and then we get you an application.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
started
make some
to
data.
application, then I was like, oh, it looks like I need like sponsorship and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, let's just go to some meetings and figure it out.
Blindly, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I'm
If
glad.
you get a sponsor, I'd be happy to do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
At 7%.
What's that cost? Yeah, that's what I'm
He's a salesman, he's just kind of like.
That Chris is gonna launch.
Yeah, I'm taking that 2% on top.
He didn't tell you his bonuses for bringing in my head. So.
He doesn't.
Well, at least it's fully disclosed. Right?
You could say
No,
no.
I just did, but he did it.
Right.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Realtor. The company's so good. I mean,
Who's worse, loan officers or realtors? No, they just.
realtors, but I think realtors are, people don't, yeah, no one likes realtors.
Nobody does.
Nobody likes
Sorry, it's
realtors.
realtors'
Make
fault.
Well,
cameras and make-
I think lenders have had their day
Yeah.
and then the government's had us so much. Now we don't really have any, now it's your guys' turn,
Yeah,
where you guys.
Well, this whole thing about there for a while, I don't know where it's at anymore, but it was just like, oh, who needs a real estate agent when you can buy online?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah,
There's a
what was
problem.
that?
Oh, I just call a robot.
yeah,
I hate that.
yeah, no.
You know, even when I have a problem with my phone or something, you get a robot.
Yeah.
That's great.
Hey, hey,
And then
Yeah.
I can read through the diagnostic tree myself, you know.
You look a little unrested.
even.
A little bit.
What's that?
Where usual.
We hang over now trying.
Well,
Services.
last minute. Oh.
Hand
you know,
in hand.
it's still pretty hot.
And they took 81 polls. They're in the side, yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
They always do.
Yeah.
I always
mean,
like
that's the
very
thing, like,
happy
this
when I
is
get out.
Of course, gonna play all these kids off.
I've been doing this.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's Amazon, well, everybody's playing.
Okay.
My brother works for Amazon's, Blue Origin, their silent program. They're 100% pay cut.
Just get it real.
So you're gonna start with over years. Like, it's like big.
Hey, Jack, can I really soften my taxes? Hell. Why not? Because I'm not going to it. Well, it's everybody, somebody else who will.
It's nice.
Yeah, you can check it down there. There's just money there.
No, it only if you want to.
Create on your tax law. Well, then find it. That's
It is, because I for a law enforcement, except for.
Well, he's not law enforcement anymore. so-
Oh, that's a good point. Hopefully better.
Well, nothing for legal.
Well, he always has.
We let her eat all back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Sure. I mean, you're probably gonna.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's really good. Back in.
You don't, you're good.
I went to.
You're good.
Sunday.
All right.
Been to a gym.
We can write down if you want to hear. Yeah, you want me to, sure.
That's what I went to last night.
Are you starting to get hockey?
I'm walking. Yeah. So I went to, it was last night at wrestling. And there were probably 10 people who showed up. It was
There you go.
different people than what we normally see. Like, we're, you know, all the
Good morning.
So
Good morning, Christine. How you doing?
meeting everybody,
Good.
right? Because we have a huge population.
Sir.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know. I haven't even been to any concert. I didn't even- I'm gonna check it
I
out.
guess starting to get. Never have a problem finding it.
How's it going?
Only one here.
You have to have a key fob or a card fob or something.
No, you have to have.
It's gonna reach out. Yeah.
They said, come
I think it goes to.
your fob. And it's, what- I guess it's like your household card and your payment. Basically,
Didn't see last week, last month.
and so I thought, okay, I need to get a fob. I've only got.
I've got about like 9 spots to get back.
Payment.
Say.
And rather than card. You know?
So you have both the same weeks.
So there's not to worry.
Yeah, I did,
Nice work, if you meet in the morning.
well, I thought it was, well,
Oh, that's-
Yes.
Your minutes is
Every
79.
Yes.
Whatever day
we'll
was.
work it out whether right now. And you want to take it. Okay, there you go. Well.
Radio commercials. were good. Yeah.
Trying to come back up.
Just look at the markets.
Yeah.
We're trying.
And you know what I'm thinking right now?
Yeah. Awesome.
Is it real or not?
Sure. Why not?
That's what I said. Find our spot. Meeting. Do you want to sit?
You gotta see the gates in it. I was concerned when I didn't see the Tesla. But I was.
Front row in it, yeah.
I've had a couple months.
Right. There you go. I'll be right back. I'll get it there. How are you doing? Good. I got it in my car.
Pretty much behind it, but it's just a lot
I'm
of
the
the
Scot, so we go down to the bird.
Yeah.
I hate that when it happens. Yeah, I don't have the story.
Slung right through it.
So we move that.
What time do you wake up if you don't have? So 6:50, real close on the car. I get stupid that when I listen to song, doesn't work.
Right.
But I'm thinking for the cafe.
Sure.
You better hide.
I'm not gonna buy it.
So I.
Yeah, it's good. And then, like I was.
It's strange, it's a real lot of scholars. Now, do we want to? I've got 9 judges. I don't think in the morning, I don't think we're starting till 9. For the small. That's right, hello. Everybody gets back today. I think we're the last 200 years. I let them all yesterday, basically about the day. 3 hours. But I need my target. I'm determining which issues they find me. Because we're interviewing next Tuesday. Next Friday. It's crunchy.
Yeah.
I got it. How are you? Another one. There's not many of them. Great to meet you. You know, I'm not in Boston. I can see. First part of that. So I love it. Start about 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, you can just come in. Such presence. I know. Let's keep this party going. Yeah, okay, so I would be looking for a sergeant of arms. Do I have a volunteer for that or? How about you, Joel?
I've never done it.
Well, that's good practice. All you gotta do is. Yeah.
So why don't you try it out? We'll help you through it.
Fine.
So, oh, fine.
So,
Well, okay, so what happens is you start the meeting, and then you do the pledge of allegiance
okay.
and the four-way test. That's the first part. Yeah,
Behind you.
yeah. Read to. The second half is, go around.
All right.
We got it? Okay.
Yes, everybody, please stand up.
Meeting's started.
Now, recite the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we all recite the four-way test, please. The first, is it early? Second, is it all concerned? Third, will it? Fourth, will it be officials to all concerned? Fifth, fun. Sixth, make it.
Great.
Beer. Oh, 5.5.
Right. Awesome. That's
All right.
great. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I don't know, I see Kendra on there. I think we have a inspirational comment. I don't see Gary on there. Guess it's just Kendra. Kendra, are you there? Good morning.
I'm here.
Okay, awesome. I sent you a link. Just FYI, I sent you a link. Did you see it? For student exchange, but anyhow, we'll get that later. So just FYI, we are being recorded, right, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live in Lake Stevens. Keep that in mind, because what you say you can't take back. So we have a couple of guests here. I have Lance Morgan over here, who just kind of saw us online and stopped in and moved. You want to say a little word?
Yeah, I just moved down from Edmonds to Lake Stevens areas, so new to the community and wanted to, you guys made some recent posts online, so I checked that out, so. And you guys seem active, so I wanted to check you guys out.
You are active. You're still active. We'll probably ask you to do something today. So anyhow, and thanks to Rochelle for putting those posts out. That really is wonderful. And you guys will be teaming together with Rand over there, so that'll be cool. It's awesome. And we have another guest, Christine Eaglestad over here. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's gonna be- And then we have one in the back there, Debbie, former member of the Everett Club. So how you doing? Good, awesome. So I think I've got everybody. Kyle's not here. And so birthdays, we have nobody, spouses, nobody, anniversaries, nobody. Rotary anniversary, Vicky Peters, but she's not here today, so it's her anniversary, so that's pretty cool. And then we have a few announcements here. We have, since Kyle's not here, the membership chair, we have who's been recently sworn in as not a guest anymore, but you are a member, Johan Toby down there. And awesome. Yes, and don't forget district conference coming up. It's coming up on May 5th and 7th, so hopefully you've got registration done, or you can still do it. Don't know if you can walk in, and then, of course, Melbourne, Australia. That's the big whole convention down there, so, and we want to promote our funding applications, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
And so with that, I'm going to move on to treasurer's report.
Everything going well, we're beginning the collections. So of like past dues,
Bill collections,
past dues.
do the hammer?
Haven't paid.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah. You know the hammer, right?
No, not yet.
No.
Yeah, I have to get better shape for that.
Oh, the hammer.
I'm beginning to exercise.
I think what we're going to do, we talked about it at the board meeting, is we'll probably get a little team together and start making some phone calls and drive-bys and stuff.
Yeah, there's not that many really.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sounds like an opportunity for a new member.
Exactly. You're in.
Yeah, we
Great.
man.
Yeah.
Everything is slide door.
Awesome. You can note that. Great, you hear that, Jack? You need to help us out and getting the dues in, so great. That'll be recorded right here. Okay.
Whoever paid dues, invite them to that.
Yeah. Tell them they're winning something.
Drive on. Right, okay, so secretary's report, since Gary's not here, I don't think there is one. Other than we did have a great board meeting, it was a lot of fun, got a lot of things done. Things are coming up because usually we kind of distribute funds towards the end of June, so we're kind of tightening up the budget, looking at the funding and stuff like that. So that's where that's at. And Don's not here either, so it's kind of a, he's not here, he's in Europe, so. There's that, and we are starting to plan our courts and kegs and Aquafest. Does anybody have a connection down there so we can get our booth signed up? There you go, you're in charge.
No, but thank you.
You're wonderful. So yeah,
I'll sign us up and then I'll, put the keys on Tim's there.
okay, good. So you'll sign us up in the same place, all that, cool.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
It's up to
okay.
the committee, ultimately, but
I think we all agree to that place, it was cool,
we do for sure. We just have to get those in the, in power.
yeah. Okay,
Who are very nice, in this way.
The August is the last weekend.
In July.
July, okay, so I gotta get the corn, so
oh yeah, you're the corn man.
I'll do the deal with the coin.
Okay, we could play cornhole in front of the booth. Okay, good. And moving right along, we have club services. Right.
Well, we're gonna just wait.
Oh, no, wait.
Don't be too excited.
Stop. Wrong.
Ready?
Yes. No, club services wrong. I gotta read this.
Pull my rug right out from under me. Buzz, see, good thing we had a conversation.
Covered for it.
Well, sir, well, great. See, I was tapped straight into the police department. Good job.
Yeah, I got a big arrested now. Finally, meeting. Go Ron, yeah.
Hope you're having a good first.
Hold it.
Okay.
Okay, everyone go ahead.
I just remember it.
Okay.
Jim Hagan.
Then Hagan approach.
Yeah.
And every first Tuesday we meet over at the brewery, so.
Yeah, second Tuesday of the month.
Okay, awesome. All right. And now, Brian, community.
All right.
services.
Easy enough. Just waiting for the weather to break some, so we can do the torch down and then I'm actually gonna go on at some point this weekend. I'll put the other stuff on there, like the skate park and the other things, and then just.
Sign up.
that. So. and then it's covered.
Okay, excellent, great. And nothing on foundation. And Linda,
Nothing to report.
okay, good.
I'm embarrassed to say last night I was prepared for the meeting. I had the Zoom up and everything. My great granddaughter comes to the door. And like an hour and a half later,
Wow.
meeting was done. It's the truth.
That's on that chart.
I'll have to bring the notes to the next meeting.
Okay, yeah, no worries. And membership's not here, and here again, we have a Hana, the new member, that's awesome. And we'll get a packet for you when Gary gets back. I think he ordered your badge and a couple things like that. So proper introduction, so. And then, I don't think Kristen's not on there, but, she was having a, I don't know if they meet last Wednesday or whatever, but they're having a pizza thing and they get a big turnout for that, and that is so awesome. And actually, the district is really starting to lean on her for help for getting other interacts going throughout the district or whatever. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then scholarships, Lance, that's going pretty good.
It is, we've got a lot going on and I had a pretty aggressive timeline for us to wrap up and interview students, so. I just reached out to Kim LaFortune this morning, seeing if we could delay the interviews a little bit. We were gonna have them on Tuesday and Wednesday. So brief summary, we had 19 applicants that submitted complete scholarship applications, which is a little more than we had last year. Unfortunately, we do not have one vocational applicant. Again, struggled with Snow Isle, our contact there. I've reached out the last couple of years and never got anything back. And this year I received an email back and I'm thinking, all right, we're doing good. And it was to let me know that there was another different contact to work through the vocational part. So unfortunately with spring break, they got the applications last week, so it was probably too late in the process. So again, learning experience. We'll try to reach out early again next year. Maybe with this new contact, we'll have more luck with some vocational applicants. So Lauren gives his donation every year for a vocational applicant. So Lauren and I have talked and he's okay us using it for a college bound student this year.
Thanks,
So we're
Lauren.
gonna get through that this year. And I read all the applicants yesterday. Good group of students again, and I look forward to seeing how this all turns out.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for.
Doesn't the academic vocational app?
Last Friday.
Okay. Yeah. I thought they said it was extended.
We extended it by.
Was that the extension?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's online that we extended it like till today.
Right.
Just
so look, did I get?
It's late, let's take it.
Maybe-
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. You do great work, Lance.
Yes, it's June 7th, I'm thinking. Yes, June 7th is a Lake Stevens Scholarship Night at the high school. And if you didn't see it, Debbie did a Facebook fundraiser to do another scholarship in Dean's name, so that's great.
Okay, thank you, Lance. And then Scouts, Troop 88 had a new Scoutmaster transition, which I was at. It was pretty cool. The one that left is still participating as an assistant Scoutmaster. And Joel is the new Scoutmaster, and he seems to be pretty nice person and jovial, and so that's gonna, I think, gonna be pretty good, so. New Scoutmaster there for the girls troop, so that's pretty awesome. And then Vicky's not here, Chris isn't here. Kendra, anything on program?
Good morning. Well, I'm excited we have Sheriff Fortney there today. And there's a few changes happening in the calendar for the next month. I just have to switch a few speakers that requested different dates, but we have Marty from IPA coming. We have Sarah from the Farmers Market. I have Laura from the Lake Stevens Film Festival. And yeah, so some exciting stuff and some other people I'm trying to get nailed down on a date. Chris, I did want to say I don't have an email from you regarding the exchange program. And I searched through my trash and spam and everything and I didn't see it.
Okay, I'll double check that. Felicity, can we look up Felicity's name?
Oh, okay, I'll search Felicity and see if that comes up with an email.
Yeah.
And also I did want to put this out there. I think I've said it before. A number of weeks ago, I sent out like a an email to like our new members. I don't think I had the newest one on there, but I'm trying to see if anyone was wanting to schedule a classification talk, and I still haven't received any response back. So just want to put a bug in people's ear. If you are a new member within the last year or two and you haven't done a classification talk, reach out to me and we can get you scheduled.
Do the new people know what a classification talk is? So what that is new members come up here or out there, whatever, to chair. And talk about yourself and what you do and where you come from and, you know, all those kind of things. And so we can kind of get to know you a little bit more. So that's what that's all about. So anyhow,
What's the timing of that?
whenever you're ready, but you have to be a member first. But you can come up now. And so that's, whenever you're comfortable with it, then we would, Kendra, like she said, she's trying to reach out to new members, and once you've signed up with an application or whatever, and then it goes to the board, and then you're approved, and then you can kind of like, hey, I can do it next week, or, how about, May 5th or whatever. So
It's a
I'm
great
excited.
Process.
There's no stress. You don't need a big presentation with
No.
slides and dancing girls. You
Yeah.
just need to
Dance
come up
real
front.
quick.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm gonna back up a little bit, but Josie, as you know, is going to Oslo. I don't know if you knew that. She's going to Oslo. So that'll be kind of cool. And we're not sure who we're gonna get here. So right now, we're getting ready to kind of vet the host families. There's 4 host families, believe it or not, that stepped up to take an inbound student. And things of that sort. So I'll be sending letters out to the host families and getting them geared up to fill out their information. And then do a interview and vet them out and things like that, figure out who wants to be the first person to get the first student and so on and so forth. So that's kind of in the mix. And Kendra is, I'm the youth organizer, I'm the youth guy. How about that? So I'm kind of in charge of that. Then Kendra is the counselor, so there's a counselor the student could go to, and I track all the reporting and things of that sort. And there's this massive database, it's incredible. I don't know who put it together, but it's linked to all kinds of stuff, so. And if you're a student, you've got so much homework to do, it's incredible, I could not believe it. All the things that they have to do and reports, and they're going down, the last week of this month to CBAT on Hood Canal. All the youth exchange students, and they're gonna be studying things and writing reports and doing all kinds of really cool stuff. I mean, I can't believe it, I don't know if I'd have enough time to do all the things they're doing just to go outbound, so. It's pretty exciting. And then, Kendra, there'll be some classes you'll have to take as well. So I'll look for that link and let you know.
When I searched up Felicity's name, the email did show up. So I
Oh,
got it.
good. Okay, so you fill that out and then you go in there and then there's some classes that you would take and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. So Kendra's kind of like the first contact for the student, and how's it going and what's going on. And I think as Don said, he was trying to put together a, like a bike ride of some sort. And if, as Rotarians or people, teachers, whatever, in the community have a thought on, hey, let's, do a bike ride on Lopez Island. We can all get together and bring some youth exchange students with us for the day or whatever it is and have a lot of fun. So that's kind of cool. So it's just, they can't they kind of discourage like an overnight trip somewhere or whatever. So anyhow, there's a lot of rules. So, but it'll be kind of cool and fun. So that's that. And now we have Tracy. How's that
Yes.
going?
It's going great. I haven't worked on it yet, but
That's okay.
watch your email for, I'm gonna send out the grading and, very simple, it's a lot less involved than the scholarships, but it's very similar. So we do have some requests for money and we love to give money. I haven't heard my budget though, so I'm just gonna pretend like I have all the money in the world. And you can pretend to. So, just if you want to participate, read the instructions and then email me back. Within a couple weeks,
Yeah.
3 weeks or so, and then I want to go to the board meeting in May.
Yeah,
If I
perfect.
can, so
How many applications do you think you have?
I think there's 4.
Okay. We just gotta
Find them.
get out there and promote them.
And I know that you're gonna have one more from Laura at the film festival. I know that she wants to submit one, but I don't think she's submitted one yet.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll
good.
watch for it.
Awesome.
Tracy, do you want to use the scoring spreadsheet that we've used for scholarships, or you got something developed?
I have nothing developed.
You can send it.
You could look at it and
That would
see
be
if
great.
it'll work for your purposes
That'd
too.
be great.
Dean did a good job putting that together.
Yeah. It'd be great, thank you.
Yeah, so. Debbie, did you have anything you wanted to say as a guest?
Regarding anything.
Anything?
Well, I was just gonna say during Happy Books, I wanted to thank everyone that gave to the scholarship in Dean's name. And I also put on receipt that they donate directly to the foundation here. It didn't have to go through the Facebook post.
Okay.
And because it'd be nice to continue to do that. I know that was his passion and he loved it. So
Yeah.
just wanted to say thanks.
Awesome, okay. And now with that, we have wonderful Joel. So now we go back and get the can.
Yeah.
On the job training.
Yeah. First, I'll even through this. Okay. Hey, you might as well have the gentleman behind you do that if he's willing.
He's probably the most honest guy here.
All righty, so we've got 752-979.
The last three digits.
Anybody?
Awesome.
Go ahead.
Great.
And then you got $5.
No.
She picks a duck. She gets to pick a duck.
Yeah. Even I was wondering.
Okay, Joyce. It's a duck. Oh, the winning one.
Oh, onward and upward.
Jack, you gotta take that.
Oh, we got it.
All right. Now, Joel.
Now you can do it.
Now you can.
All right, so
There's fines and then there's happy bucks.
I was really tempted to make us get up and do the no, what is it, the right hand deal, right? In honor of our, yeah, that was when I first visited, that was part of the process. So.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You need.
I want to respect your guys' time, so whatever you think.
Okay.
All right, so we'll make it quick.
Yeah.
So.
No worries.
So anyway, so we're gonna do happy about and. Do a little bit of a fine. So.
Tired, bro.
What's that? All right, so what are you happy about with it?
Well, happy to be here. I'm also gonna find myself for being late.
Oh, okay.
Been too dead.
Yeah. I'm getting late. So how about you?
Fine for November, and I'm happy today is the middle school clinic to get the middle schoolers excited about track.
Track, wow.
So,
How many people do you think you'll have?
probably 400 next year, who knows?
That's
All right.
great.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna find myself for being late again. Because I was late, my dad was in my car, so. I'm happy I'm done paying fines.
Good. What are you happy about?
I'm happy to move the ticket. There it is.
All right, say,
Happy that it's Friday and had a great week in Arizona last week.
Oh, yeah.
all right, how about you, Lantern?
I don't think I have any fines. I have my cell phone on. I was the earliest guy. Do I take money?
It's in you too.
Like Lance is not a very common name.
Oh, yeah.
So I think this is a place.
Okay. Get that man a uniform.
All right.
Okay, fine, we're missing that silly meeting last night and I'm happy it's Friday.
Awesome.
Well, I already kind of said one thing, and then just happy to be here, always see everybody, and yeah, Lance, I think you're already like fitting it.
All right, Brian.
All right, so I've been, for my badge, and then I'm happy that in the 7 years I've been here, I've never met the officer behind me in a negative way, so.
Awesome.
Something in the air here.
All right, awesome. How about you, Lance?
Give a happy five, just thanks to everyone for all your help on scholarships, it's great to see the students.
Brian and Lauren.
It's amazing what happens when you drive a Tesla into a gas station. It attracts a crowd.
You do that for fun?
I'll start doing that.
Maybe Friday, and then if anybody's looked on their weather app on the phone next week. Looks like it's. Well, for now.
Good, everybody.
Happy, hey, welcome, Lance. I just moved out from the same area, so good to have you out here.
Awesome. Okay, new member.
Friday, and we just want to congratulate our group from Central Way. They went to a ceremony.
Today's Friday. I can do a lot today. Thank you.
I'm happy for showing. Happy that I knew about this, but I think. I'm a member. I'm just having my Friday and thank you for that.
Praise. All right. Oh, and online, Kendra. Oh.
I didn't realize I could. For happy.
Hey, Kendra, we're online. How about you?
I'll throw my happy bucks in for Kraken playoff. We had a wonderful first game. And second game, they were ahead by 2 and then ended up losing 3-2, but we'll get it back. So my happy bucks is for Kraken.
Perfect. And mine, 1, it's Friday, but 2, Tracy gave me great clean feet this week. And I was so excited about that. So
See your smile.
Thank you.
And I have some happy bucks.
oh, right.
So, yeah, I'm happy that you did the Sergeant of Arms. You did a great job. You're hired.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm happy that everybody's here and we're a great club and the things are going out for the public and everything. We're gonna have a great year. So awesome. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, and with that, Kendra, do you want to introduce Adam or want me to? Okay, so Adam Fortney is Snohomish County Sheriff, and he's got a few things to say to us today, and come on up. Thanks for being here and taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us and like Steve.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, you guys. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I've known Dr. DeLong for a long time. Do you remember when I was a road deputy in the Lake Stevens area and your business got burglarized? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I'm the one who investigated that.
Yes.
We ended up finding that guy. There was a search warrant on his home and when it recovered, I don't think we got all of it. We got a lot of your equipment backed up. That was about 15 years ago at least. That was a while ago.
Old office.
Old office, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I didn't know we talked about Kraken hockey at Road. I'm in, so I love hockey, so big fan, so glad the Kraken are in the playoffs, but I'm not here to talk about that. And I want to be upfront. So I am running a campaign right now. You may have heard of that, maybe not. I am not here to talk about that stuff today. I am here as your elected sheriff. I'm not going to bore you with politics. I kind of consider it more of a public safety update and kind of everything that's going on. I'm going to finish with, I've talked to a few Rotaries now, and this right here, I love about Rotary. So I'm going to finish on that saying where I think we have some things in common as your elected sheriff. But I'll talk about public safety first. It's going to sound political at first. It's not. I just kind of got to give my story so you know where I came from. I've lived in this community, past tense, sorry, for 20 years, raised my kids in the schools here, absolutely loved it, been part of the community. And I was working I've been in the sheriff's office 27 years now. So at the time I was either a patrol sergeant or working the road while I lived in this community and raised a family. We did sell our house in the spring of 2022, and we've had property for a while outside of Granite Falls. We decided to take the plunge. We got in at the tail end of the height of the market. We did okay. We didn't do great. There were no bidding wars or anything that we were hoping for. And so we're trying to build a house outside off Jordan Road right now. So we are definitely still an active member of the community, just a little further outside the city than I had been for a very long time, since 2002. So I love Lake Stevens. I kind of consider it my home still making that adjustment. And if you've ever tried to, we're business owners, right? We're Rotary. If you're ever trying to build a house in unincorporated Snohomish County, oh my gosh, what a process that is. It took a very long time and we finally have a foundation. So we're seeing things happen literally after about 2 years. So one single family residence, that's it. It's not even that big a house or anything. But anyway, public safety, I apologize, public safety. Okay. Like I said, I ran in 2019. When I ran in 2019, I ran against the incumbent sheriff, who was my boss at the time. He left me alone. It was a little bit uncomfortable, got a little crazy at the end. My point is, I don't think anybody expected me to win that thing in 2019 when I ran. And I was kind of an outsider to politics. I did run for office. I do not consider myself a politician. I just don't. The way I'm talking to you now is the way I talk behind closed doors and everything else. I am who I am, and that's just kind of what I've tried to take to the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. Lifelong resident in Snohomish County. I grew up in Briar. My kids and now my grandkids are here in Snohomish County, other than one daughter's in Sela over in Eastern Washington. So I only say that to say, now that I'm the elected sheriff, I've been here for about 3.5 years in that position. The policies and procedures I put in place, a lot of them, they definitely impact the sheriff's office. Some have the potential to impact the community. So I want you to know that's near and dear to my heart. So every decision I make has the potential to impact my family, my kids and grandkids in the county as well. So we've taken a different approach to public safety. I think it's a unique perspective, if you will. And what do I mean by that? I think I've lived up to the stuff that I said in 2019. I think we had the right message at the time. I probably didn't have a shot of winning if it wasn't that moment in history. It was the height of the opioid epidemic. People were tired of crime. Still, that's very relevant to this day. I kind of ran on a tough on crime message. It's still okay to lock people up, but man, we better be super compassionate on the back end too. And where we can be helping people change their lives, we should be doing that. And it really resonated with the community. So I hope I brought that, or I know I brought that to the sheriff's office the last 3.5 years. This is the problem with everything that I had in my mind that I wanted to do as a newly elected official. I took office in January 2020. Worst timing in the history of time. Because what did I face? That's kind of the new guy in office, is that in March, the pandemic was in full swing. Okay, George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. No matter where anybody feels about that, it changed the way we do business. And boy, as leaders in law enforcement, we have better been reflected internally on how that impacted us, even though it was in the Midwest and not here. Change the way we do business. Okay, I took that very seriously. Number 3, the state legislature got a hold of our laws in January 2021. Right after that, they definitely changed the way we do business. And then something's wrong in state government when they have to come back the next year and change about 70% of the stuff that they just voted on the year prior, because they realized, oh crap, we got this wrong. And the state was kind of going in chaos. I think it's getting better. I'm an optimist. I am a glass half full type of a guy. So I'm appreciative that they realized the mistakes, if you will, went back and changed some of the rules that we had to work under. 2021 was a rough year. We were confused as deputy sheriffs and police officers. We would literally, and I'm not joking, we would contact the authors of the bill to try to figure out what they wanted us to do. When the authors of the bills they gave us in public safety didn't know how to explain it to us, what the heck were we supposed to do? So we did the best we could. And I think we did a pretty good job. So you guys know my approach to all of that was we call it kind of a respond and assess. A lot of police departments were just backing off and saying, I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm not going to do something like that. And we wanted our people to be very careful, because there was a lot of scrutiny on us at the time. I was not going to turn my back to the community though. I felt the hands-off approach was turning our back as public safety to the community. And when people call 911, we shouldn't be afraid to show up. We should show up. Did we have to consider everything the state legislature? You bet we did. And we need to honor both the letter of law and the spirit of law and what they wanted. But we didn't take the hands-off approach. Not only that, we continued with law enforcement in Snohomish County, when I think a lot of people, public safety agencies, they were backing off. That's just how it was. It's been a tough 3 years. And so we have not done that. This is the city of Lake Stevens. I am responsible for unincorporated Snohomish County and our contract cities. Kind of the height of our prime area is South Everett, if you will. Now, it's everywhere in the county. It's everywhere, always will be. I'm just talking the height of it, almost the face of it, where you can drive down the road and see what the heck is going on here. What I want to report back to you guys, and definitely as business owners, is what we have done. It's a little bit different geographically because it's not in the city here, but I think it's important because what we did is it's been about 2.5 years now. The business owners down in that area were fed up. They'd had it. I'm still kind of fairly new in office, figuring out my way. They wanted a meeting. I didn't have to go to the meeting as the elected sheriff, but I chose to go to meet with those business owners down there. Probably 12 of them at the time. This was the very first meeting. 2.5 hours. We walked around the Mariner Square, 128th and 4th Avenue West, and they pointed out all the things that they wanted our help with, and it was not comfortable. We talk about leaders having to have difficult conversations. That was difficult. Okay, but I was there. I took it. And what's more important, kind of when I'll report back to you guys, is that what did we do after that? As the elected sheriff, did I go back to my office and hide and hope they forgot about that meeting at some point and things get, no, we have built relationships down there for the last 2+ years. That business association is now up to about 40+ businesses. Not only that, this is important, because the Home Depot side down there, 99, is county. The Jack in the Box and the 7-Eleven side, that's the city of Everett. Okay, while we communicate, we're great partners, it is different. They can get a 911 call over on their side of the city. We may not know about it over here. So we had to have some communication. So not only are we communicating better as police agencies, but with a business group that it grew so big, it's now across. So I have business owners in the city of Everett coming to my public safety meetings once a month at Patty's Egg Nest at 120th and 4th, so we can continually communicate. And we are listening to the business owners. How do they want us to police their area? Now, ultimately, is it my responsibility? Yep, you bet it's my responsibility. We should be listening to the community. And I got to tell you, like I mentioned, when I kind of ran on a tough on crime, and it's okay to lock people up. It's not a solution to society's problems, but we shouldn't shy away from that either in a civilized society. Those business owners, they're tougher than I am sometimes. They are done, they are fed up, but we have done that. My point is, I have worked very hard at building relationships. That's for business owners within county government. I want to give one example because I think it's important for county government. When I'm in your shoes and I'm listening to an elected official, I just want to know they're working hard and getting stuff done. And I think there's way too much of this these days, just way too much. I'm a nonpartisan, thank the good Lord up above. It is, I don't want to put an R or D by my name because public safety should be for everyone in our community, no matter where you stand. The last thing I want is someone calling 911 in unincorporated Snohomish County and worrying about something politically I may have said or an R or D by my name. I never want that. Okay, I hope I've been able to bring that. One of the partnerships we've done within county government, I'll just say this and I'll be brief. It wasn't a real comfortable start for me coming into office. And what I mean by that is most of county government was for the other guy. They did not have a real good impression of who I was as a person. They definitely didn't know my heart, okay? And I think they thought some pretty bad things were going to happen when I took over. I tried to do the complete opposite. I've worked extremely hard to build those relationships, no matter what letter they might have by their name. And I know it's working. I've been a good partner to county government and to the people out in the community, including businesses. And one example is last year in 2022, our budget cycle is how we get funding to further public safety. The county budget cycle is insane. It takes about 8 months out of the year. It's way too long. I hope we can streamline it somehow, but we haven't been able to yet. But anyway, we have to participate. That's how we further the sheriff's office and further the community with how we provide services. And so we weren't going to get a whole lot of new items or new people in last year's budget. It's just how it is. County's funding is a little different structure than cities, and we knew that going in. There were 3 things that were super important to me that I wanted to lobby for, even though I was told basically don't. I'm only going to tell you about one because I think it's the most important. It has to do with how we address domestic violence in our community. Very important to me. I've been to thousands of domestic violence calls over my decades of service, and I always knew that the sheriff's office and police in general do a really good job at solving a crisis. We can go into an emergency situation, make sure people are safe, make sure DV victims are safe, We can make an arrest if we need to, if they're not a crime that is committed, or make sure people get to where they need to go and things like that, and basically solve it for the night. That's kind of what we do. What we didn't do a good job of, and what I hope I've been honest and transparent about, is the back end of domestic violence in Snohomish County. So we weren't calling victims back and checking on them. A matter of fact, if they would call us back, they probably wouldn't even get the same deputies, because we probably handled 40 calls since they call us back, right? We're just on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one, all the time. So I said, what could we do? One, do we need a cop to do it? Do we need a badge and a gun? And I'm honest, no, we don't need for that. And I ran into someone through the course of my office who was providing domestic violence services like what I was interested in, the 4 police departments in the county. It's been about a 2-year project. I had to lobby through a divided council. So there's 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the Snohomish County Council. And so 5 votes, they're not unheard of, but they are rare. Okay, it's just the political world we live in. And after the undersheriff and I, Ian's the undersheriff, we lobbied our tails off. We had real conversations like I'm having with you about the potential of helping domestic violence victims. And long story short, we ended up with a 5-0 vote. So in 2023, this is when that budget cycle takes place. I just actually met with her yesterday. We've gone out to RFP. That's what we do at the county to make sure it's fair. Anybody can bid on this new project, right? We only got 1 bid. If it was the one I wanted, to be honest with you. And so we're bringing domestic violence services on the back end, and there'll be a human beings plural in that spot. Maybe not by May, but by June 1st, they'll be there. So we're making progress is my point. We're working on partnerships. I'm staying away from the partisan political stuff to the most extent that I can. And we got a 5-0 vote just recently. So I'm not going back 3 years. That's the last budget cycle, and we're seeing the impacts now today. I think that's a good thing. We're moving forward. Okay, I told you I was going to talk about that, and then I'll end on that, because once I get going, I can really talk. So I'm wrapping up, I promise. Service above self. That's incredibly important to me. I've kind of been in the service industry as a deputy sheriff for, like I said, a few decades now. But man, this role of sheriff is different. It is not out responding to 911 calls. It is an administrative job. It's a leadership job. So in 2020, I already mentioned kind of the big things that we went through that were unprecedented in my opinion. And then January of 2021 hit. And I really tried to reflect internally. I try to do that as much as I can. Big picture, where's the sheriff's office going? What can we be doing different? What can we be doing better? And so I wanted to bring something to the community in the form of service, because I figured out in that first year, I have a lot of authority as the elected sheriff. I have a lot of resources. I want to use that for good, okay? And so what we decided to do, what I am passionate about is Jill and I, my wife, we have 8 kids. We're a blended family between the 2 of us. Like I said, I raised them all in this community. I've been around youth literally since I was 18 years old. Yes, I started very early. No, I don't recommend that. It was a tough start. That's my life. So, and so I think kids have it kind of tough these days. And I know some people don't think that. I do, because I've seen it. And what I mean by that is, they're lacking leadership. Well, I'll tell you what we ended up calling it: leadership, encouragement, and direction for our youth in Snohomish County. We started a youth program. As cops, we started a youth program. And it started as bullet points on my whiteboard. And now fast forward 2 years, they're 2 years into this program. We bring kids in from all over the community. I don't care where they live. I don't care what they've done. I don't care if they've been to jail. I don't care if they're a perfect kid. If they think they can get value in our program, we bring them in for 8 weeks. So it's a commitment. For 1 night a week, and we also add a Saturday in there somewhere. We do a form of community service with these kids. Why do we do community service? That sometimes has a negative connotation to it. That's not what we're doing. We're building them at like the team effort. We want them to know what it's like to work life with kids and us, who they're still getting to know. And then they're out in the community furthering a cause. This is very important for teenagers that has nothing to do with themselves. They're all self-centered, and no judgment. I include my own kids in that as teenagers. That's just how they are. And so we spend 1 Saturday, and they got to do community service as well. It's not just me up there talking. I bring in guest speakers all over the place, and I can tell you this: it is real, it is raw, and we are trying to imprint upon those kids. We have a couple things to the program. One is there is always hope, no matter what you're going through. I can tell you this as I stand here today, not every kid in our society realizes there is hope for them. We are flat out telling them from week 1 to week 8 at graduation that there is always hope. Okay. Number 2, your mistakes in life don't define you. Kids get hung up, man. They're on their phones all the time. The bullying on social media is unbelievable in this day and age. We want them to know their mistakes don't define them. And so there's a bunch of cops. It's not just cops. So I have 800 employees. I have civilians, I have medical personnel, I have corrections deputies, and then I do have cops. They all participate in this as mentors in the program. And so when we bring the kids in, we're mainly in uniform. I'm kind of in a modified uniform today. And so they see the badge and we bear the belts and the gun. That's a barrier. It's a barrier to anyone in the community. It's definitely a barrier to youth. My goal is we're trying to break down those barriers. They do see us as human beings, and it does not take 8 weeks. You get these kids in a room, we actually have a little jail cell that I put on the check-in table, and they have to put their cell phones in the jail during the 2 hours they're with us. So there's no phone, no, it's human interaction is huge to me, it's big. And kids aren't real good at it these days, but by week 2, definitely by week 3, we're like engaging with the kids and talking to them. So I say that to know that so you can know, as the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, I believe under my leadership for the last 3 years, been a little bit unique. We've dealt with unprecedented times, and I'm very proud of where we're at. But we weren't just getting through the last 3.5 years under my leadership. We weren't at a time when it was probably okay, maybe even appropriate, just to kind of get through the last 3 years. We haven't done that. We've done all the public safety stuff. We are not shying away from law enforcement. We also aren't shying away from the compassion if we can get people help. All of those services, we have outreach teams, we're doing all of that. And we didn't stop there. We're giving back to our community in the form of this youth program. And the youth program is getting pretty big, to be honest with you. Leadership Snohomish County, if you guys know them, they're in it. They've taken it on as a project partner. Their due date, I think, is 3 weeks from now. So it's kind of exciting for me. And they spent the last 6 months looking at our youth program and seeing how it could do better, how it could grow, where it could go, whether it's schools, criminal justice system. And so I'm super excited for that coming up. They've been a great partner. So that's growing. My point is, I think we're doing a lot of good stuff with the sheriff's office. I want you to know that as business owners. We are definitely listening when people call, we listen. And as the sheriff, my kind of leadership perspective is, I have a lot of appointed positions. We're divided up into 4 bureaus. Bureau chiefs run the bureaus, and then I have an under sheriff who's the number 2. I give them a lot of authority and a lot of leeway. And I think that's important. And so, with that leeway comes a lot of responsibility. And anyway, I think that's important. So the same people that I appointed when I took office in 2020 are still there to this day. And that was not easy. There were all times when we in public safety at least considered probably leaving the profession in the last 3 years. Brutally honest, I had a quick conversation with my wife. It was quick. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. My kids and grandkids are here, and so I am rooted here. And so I'm not going anywhere. I'm very proud of what the sheriff's office has been able to bring to the entire community and our partnerships with Lake Stevens PD. You can name your city around here. The chiefs and I meet every month. We are on a great working relationship. And one of the things that was critical to me, I only had one really, you will do this when I took office to my people. And that kind of goes to giving them their autonomy. And that is, we will be a good partner to anyone in the community. That can mean a school, that can mean the Everett Police Department, that can mean a different police department. I have 27 years here, so I know the sheriff's office really well. We weren't always the best partner. Okay, we kind of had a little bit of an ego because we were kind of the big fish in the sea. We're a big agency. We have a lot of resources. I have the complete opposite perspective of that. Ego should never get in the way. Since we are a big agency and we do have resources, when people call for help, my direction was, our answer is yes. Every single time. I will figure out the logistics later, because there are logistics that come with it. They're just are. So I hope we've been a good partner. I hope the city of Lake Stevens, I think the chief would agree, that he has felt that at some point in the last 3.5 years. So I'm proud of the sheriff's office. I'm proud of where we're at. I'm very thankful for you having me today and me being able to give this update. I really appreciate it. So thank you guys. I will take questions, but I want to respect your time. I don't know what you guys have. Okay. Yeah.
How are you approaching the collision between mental health and law enforcement? Where I think the idea that, creating a safe environment, but yet still, being aware of the, just being compassionate to those words.
So your question is mental health and how do we deal with it as cops? So I'll start by saying this. as the sheriff, if you can figure out a way for cops to get out of the business of mental health, you can sign me up today, I'll get out. And people have wanted us out of that business, especially in 2020 and 21. But then I think the community realizes, oh, we do have a role, and it's a safety role, okay? And what got lost in the last 3 years of chaos, my words only, is that you never hear about the peaceful solutions to things in the news or anything like that. We deal with mental, literally on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and we get really good at it. We get really good at talking to people. Is it our profession? No, it's not. We're cops, man, right? We enforce the law, but we get really good at those things. Now, the world changed in the last 3 years, and now we have, the Snohomish County calls them DCRs, or designated crisis responders. We can call them up at the county. They send us a social worker. They send us someone who's trained in mental health more than we are. And so we have those options now that we never did before. I will say this to you, because I talk about this all the time. It is a crisis, and it's usually a co-diagnosis with some type of drug use disorder and mental health right now.
Yeah.
It is, you can see it. You can drive down the streets and see it. It is really rough right now, and it is the solution is bigger than the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. I think it's a state solution, probably a country, and I think we're doing some good things where if people are in crisis, we can get them help. And like I said, we're really good at that. We gotta have somewhere for these folks to go. I think it's more humane to have somewhere for these folks to go. Probably get them on some type of medication that they need. They can make hopefully a better life decision. I think that's better than taking them to the emergency room who can't handle this right now. And then they're back on the street literally in a couple hours. That's not humane to me, but that's a bigger solution than Adam Courtney at the sheriff's office. I think the cops do a good job at recognizing people in crisis and doing the best they can. I will say this on a positive note. I believe the Snohomish County in general has more resources available to people than I have ever seen in almost 30 years of service. That is a good thing, and it should be that way. For you that don't know, my office is at the main courthouse in downtown Everett. The Carnegie building is right there next to the jail. That Carnegie building, they transformed years ago before my watch into kind of, I call it a one-stop shop for resources. If people in our community need help, what they need help with drug addiction and getting treatment, they need help with IDs are a huge deal because they get stolen on the street all the time or lost. They can help them there. They need housing assistance. They can go to this one building and at least start down that road. So that's a good thing. We do have outreach teams that, so again, the cops aren't the solutions to society's problems, but we have to be a conduit for people to say, hey, there's help over here, or this agency can help you here. And I guarantee you we're doing that. I take it real seriously. So big problem. I think we're doing what we can now, but we have more work to do. Yes, sir.
Kind of a fun one, and I'll ask this one for Lauren. I've heard from Sam that you guys are testing electric vehicles.
Okay, this is what happened. Yes, Sam Lowe. He's a county councilman. He said, Adam, I really want you guys to try this. And he drives a Tesla, okay? And he goes, and I go, well, hey, I'm willing to try different things. That's one thing I've definitely brought to the sheriff's office. Not all of them are always successful, but boy, we are trying different things. So we bought the first Tesla at the Snohomish County. It actually made nationwide news, believe it or not. That's crazy to me, but it did. And so we marked it up. We made it a traffic car, so doing traffic enforcement, a cage in the back. We ran into so many complications with that. I didn't know the Tesla roofs are glass. I had no idea. And we're trying to keep somebody in the back seat, right? That could be an issue. So we got to be very careful with that stuff. We did it, we pulled it off, and it just didn't work for our jurisdiction. We found all over the mall, there is a fast testing, a charging station somewhere down there. And the casino up in Twila has a speed charging thing. Other than that, they're few and far between. For our geography, it just did not work.
Okay.
We still have the car. We're being fiscally responsible. It's just an admin car now, is what it is.
Okay.
So we tried. I am sure that technology will get to a place where we're all doing that at some point. But the answer is yes, we did try it. It's just, man, we can't predict our shifts, right? We work 24/7 and we might have to drive more than the battery will allow. We might not have the opportunity to charge it. So we're back to the Ford Explorer. Yes.
Talked about the kids do a community service. Do they get to pick that, or is that?
That's a great question. So we've done it 4 times now. I think 3 of the 4 they have chosen The last one, I kind of waited till the last minute, so I said, we're gonna go pay more graffiti and fences in South County, so I kind of made that ultimate decision.
What did they do?
They picked, the first one was actually really neat, so we're, when we kind of debrief, not debrief, when we get the kids in, we're in a circle, and we're just kind of talking and getting to know them. And this was several weeks in, so we need to pick a project, and one of the kids, it's so cool when they'll raise their hand and talk. Because week one is not like that, week one is awkward, so they raise their hand, they're like, oh, I kind of want to do something to help the homeless. I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. And then someone else piped in, which is great, this kids, not the mentors. And they're like, well, how about, like, the right word, the bags that what we did is we did a drive at the Snohomish County Jail, just outside, not in the jail, but outside of it. We said, we're gonna be here for this 3 hours on a Saturday, and the community could come and drop off stuff. So gloves, socks, and then we had backpacks. The kids then put all those together, okay, we ended up with a ton of stuff. And then at graduation, through my contacts in the community, Jason Cockburn runs the Second Chance Foundation, who helps outreach and bring people into housing and drug addiction and stuff like that. We invited him to our graduation, and the kids gave all of these backpacks, it was a ton of them, to Jason at the Second Chance Foundation, so he could get them to community members. So it's a mix of both. I love it when the kids get to pick the stuff. And the other thing we did was a beach cleanup at Kayak Point. We did that on a Sunday. That was our summer program last year, 2022. So it ended up to be great weather. We did the parks, that we partnered with the Parks Department. So the parks actually put us on a hike and explained what we were doing and all that. And I didn't expect a lot from that hike, to be honest with you, but we had parents there too, because it was a Sunday afternoon and we were going to feed them afterwards. And so during the hike, just listening to the conversations that were going, that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do, to start conversations and things like that. So that was great. And then the service part of that was cleaning up the beach. And then we fed everybody and had a good time. So it's a mix of both. I love when the kids pick though, that's better.
Awesome.
We do that, right?
Are you guys still taking applicants for that, or?
Yeah, so this is what happened. We graduated session 4, I think the first week of March this year. So we graduated that session, and then we usually kind of take a little bit of a breather. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's all after hours, in the evening. So we work a full day, then go do that. And it's every weeknight for 8 weeks plus that Saturday. It's a lot. And although I have 800 employees, I really have about 12 that are like all in, that are there every week, and some show up every now and then. So my staff has told me, Adam, please don't do this for the rest of it. It's a campaign year for me. I know I'm not here to talk about that. And so it's just super busy. It's incredibly busy right now, but I can make the ultimate
Are you gonna
decision.
Volunteer, allowing volunteers?
It depends on the person. We do have volunteers, actually. Chris Garcia owns a gym here in town. He heard about what we were doing in session 1. I went to meet him at his gym. We're dear personal friends to this day, a couple of years later, and now he's there every single week. We partner with the United States Navy. We have a commander in the Navy that runs recruiting. It's not just for Washington. He just got promoted. He's the CEO down in Seattle. He runs recruiting for Alaska, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. He shows up every single week. Can you imagine the CEO in the United States Navy? He doesn't have to be there helping kids in Snohomish County. He is, because he sees the value in the program and he wants to help. And then he actually, I'm sorry, I gotta talk about this all night long. He gives an award. We kind of single out one kid just with a lot of promise or progress made in the program. And he's good at woodworking. He gives them an award from the United States Navy at the end of it, at the 8-week graduation. It's really cool. To answer your first question though, I'm gonna pull off the summer one. The summer ones are fun because the weather's good. We get the kids outside a little bit. He helped us tour Navy ship. And one cool thing about the Navy ship is, so we went there and he had contacts at the Everett Navy base. So we toured the ship, which was really cool. But these kids get to go on and they're meeting the different stations in the Navy ship and the workers. And it's cool because they're from all over the country, all different backgrounds, and they're interacting with these kids. And this one young man from Marysville, he's a freshman, a sophomore this year. Yeah, Imani was his name. And we get together in the parking lot and we talk about what we just did. Imani must have had 10 questions for the Navy commander that's in our about this ship. And that's what we're there for. We're not there to push them in the military or push them anywhere else. We want them to find their personal passion. And my point is, you could see the wheels turning in the form of his questions. That's what we're there for. We just want to get the wheels turning, and we want kids that might be bogged down in life and might not have the family support at home to see, oh, there is something I can do. Oh, I can go to Snow Isle Skill Tech Center as a junior and senior. We house our program there, by the way. And so we toured that one year, not to push them, just to show them their trades. And then in the last session we had just this year, 3 of the kids ended up applying for a program for next year at Snow Isle Skill Tech Center. I think that's fantastic. You know, will they stick with that their whole life? I don't know, but at least they're doing something productive, which they weren't when they entered our program, because the kids aren't signing up for a program. The parents are grabbing them and dragging them and saying, you will go. But anyway, that's kind of what we're doing. You had your hand up, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to comment and then a question about this program.
Sure.
So my business is down in Snohomish.
Okay.
And I moved it from Seattle PM last year. And the business was vacant for a while. And so there was often problems on the back areas, particularly with the homeless sleeping. And I would call and report them to the local police because it didn't feel safe for me or my team to handle it. But I noticed they'd often come, like a Snohomish officer and a Snohomish County Sheriff officer would come together, and just my interactions of them were always positive. That's really impressed me. So I think what you're saying, you know, your collaboration and partnership
hope so.
really pays off. But then I have questions, so thank you for that. My question is, how are the kids chosen for this program that you?
So we have a large social media footprint of the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. I think there's something like 17 different platforms we're on. I'm old. I do Facebook. That's all I do. But my director of communications pushes it out on social media. And the word has gotten out a little bit because we're a couple years in now, and then the applications just come in. If they send us an application and we're not in session, we hold on to that and then we reach out again when we're ready to roll. And that's what Leadership Snohomish County is helping me with, but that's not my area. So they're going to help us where we can branch out a little further, I think. I'm a little worried about capacity because you can only do so much. We had 9 kids in the first session where it was unheard of. No one had heard of our program before. So I was happy to have the 9. They kind of went off without a hitch for 8 weeks. Then the second session, we had 18. So we doubled in size. We learned through trial and error, 18 is probably too much if you're looking for that personal connection with the kid. At 9, I could go around and our mentors could every single week and at least have a conversation with each kid. At 18, we found that very difficult to do. So we accept applications all the time. I'm a simple guy. We made the application 1 page, very simple for parents. They don't need to do a lot. It's a PDF on our website. They send it in and we hang on to it.
Awesome.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Funding, is this funded through the sheriff's office? Is it a 501(c)(3)?
Yeah, we just did it. It's not a 501(c)(3). I just did it as the sheriff. Like I said, we have a lot of resources, budgets are tight. And I got to be careful about, be very fiscally responsible. I have been under budget all 3 years I've been in office, so I'm proud of that fact. But it's just something we did. There's things that as the sheriff, I can just decide. And as long as I can make it work fiscally, it's not a big lift, to be honest with you. Snow Isle Skill Tech, they gave us free reign of their facility, so I'm not paying for a facility. We pay for snacks and drinks every week for the kid. Graduation, actually, the last 3, the first one, we didn't have it donated. We had dessert donated, but we feed the families and everything. We gave as a celebration of the kids. We're big on celebrating your successes, both large and small, because we talk long-term and short-term goals, and long-term goals are great. Like I do that then at home, right? But you can't just set like a goal in 10 years, I want to be here and do nothing in between. You got to do short-term goals. And when you hit short-term goals, we tell the kids, celebrate it. Even if it's something small, celebrate it. So you have that positive in your life, right? So did I answer your question? I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Being here. I really feel like $25 donation for the Lake Foundation.
Awesome.
Your name is so much.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for
Did a
that.
great job.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. And do we have anything for the good of the whole here?
You signed it before.
What?
You signed it.
Maybe.
That come out there.
Yes.
Yes, if not. So we have, I think we have to be out of here like 8:45. Yeah, 8:45. So we gotta hustle. So anyhow, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Awesome.
Okay. Joyce, do you want to leave your back?
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't here.
Yeah.